Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another Me First Moments. I am your host, Patricia Ribeiro-Wolfson, and I'm a coach and an energy practitioner who helps people simplify transformation through the Me First method, which I developed over 12 years ago, and it has helped my clients and myself personally get through some really challenging times. So stick around and find out what we're going to talk about today. If you are watching, please say hello. And don't forget to go ahead and subscribe to Me First TV on YouTube. I actually realized that for the last, week or so, I have been giving you guys the wrong link to my YouTube. Although I still have had subscribers, so I don't know if that was a bad thing. But so you can go to YouTube and just type in at Me First TV, and that will take you to my channel. And once you press the little bell, that will let you subscribe and receive notifications. So please go ahead and do that if you want to watch my show. All right, so let's talk about today. So when I first started on my healing journey, or at least when I intentionally started on this healing journey many years ago, I wasn't sure where to begin. I didn't know how to connect with spirit without an intermediary. Of course, growing up Catholic, I was raised to believe that you have to go through a middleman, the priest, to speak to God. And that never really sat well with me. In fact, it was something I used to talk about a lot as a kid. I just didn't understand why I had to, it's specifically about confession. I didn't understand why I had to confess to another mere mortal to get their permission, like they were the only ones who could give me the forgiveness that, and decide whether or not God said I was forgiven. I never liked any of that, probably why I stepped away, or part of the reason why I stepped away from the Catholic Church myself. However, I did I knew instinctively, there was something that told me there should be a way to connect, right? I wanted a direct line. And I felt like if we're all God's children, we should be able to communicate with this powerful creator, with this, metaphorical parent and nurturer. We should be able to connect with him or her or them or it ourselves. And I began looking at ways to strengthen my connection. The only experience I ever had was with prayer, which is one very effective way to develop your relationship with God or spirit. But there are many ways to connect, and I want to talk about some of my favorite ways today. So, and if you have a way that you like to connect with spirit, please share them below. So even before I start telling mine, please go ahead and share. Hey, Sarah, nice to see you. Hi. And yes, anyone else who's watching, please feel free to say hello. And once again, go subscribe to Me First TV on YouTube. And don't forget that I still have my free Me First guide with simple transformation practices about calibrating and such. And you can just go into the description of this video and look up the Me First free guide. And this includes how to calibrate your energy, the Me First Moments rituals, a quick GPS activity, your daily ABCs, and a simple guide to managing stress, which we could all use. Also, if you want to connect with me on social media, just go ahead and check on my Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok. I have the descriptions down below of how you can follow me there. Hi, Danny. Hi. Oh, maybe it's lunchtime. Everybody's here to see me during lunch. All right. So let's start. So what we're going to do is we're going to do what we usually do on the show. We're going to do a quick little, our Me First morning, our Me First ritual together. We're going to do some breathing. We're going to do a little stretching. We're going to shake it out. We're going to set an intention with a prayer, and then we'll begin. I'll give you some information. Okay? So here we go. First, I brought a candle. I brought a candle that works. Now, do I have a lighter? I do have a lighter. Okay. Yay! So I like to start the sessions when I do this myself, when I'm really feeling like I need to ground myself or be intentional. This Me First ritual that we do together, that I am practicing this with you. So whenever you are on your own and you are feeling overwhelmed, stressed out, you're feeling disconnected from yourself, from spirit, from your family, you're just like in a bad place, I recommend doing just the simple exercise that we're going to do together. And it will change your energy. It may not solve everything, but it will sort of reset you and calibrate you, hopefully enough that you'll be able to sort of handle whatever's going on in your life at that moment, or at the very least, reset yourself to be grounded in your own energy, right? So that you're not influenced by other energetic influences. Influenced by energetic influences? Sure, why not? All right. So we're going to take 3 deep breaths. We're going to breathe in. You're going to hold for 5, and then you're going to release. And that exhale breath is going to be longer than the inhale. I like to do a count of 5 in, hold for 5, and then release for 10. So we'll do that together now. Now make sure you take a deep, deep breath, because what we want is to expand our lungs to receive more oxygen. We want to work out that capacity, okay? So here we go. Breathe in and hold and release. Whew. Okay, now we're going to do that one more time. Breathe in, hold, and release. Now, one last time, let's make it count. What we want to do is increase our capacity, increase our ability to take oxygen in, which is the literally life source, okay? We want to increase our capacity, so breathe in a lot. We want to hold it for 5, and we're breathing in through the nose, and then we're breathing out through our mouth, through pursed lips. So taking a breath in, if you're a kid, pretending you're smelling the flowers, and then breathing out as if you're blowing out the candle. So smell the flowers. Hold. Just take in that beautiful smell. And then release. Blow out those candles. Pretend it's a big birthday, like 50, baby. Okay. Pretty much because every one of my friends is turning 50 this year. That's why I came up with that. Okay. So now we're going to stretch. Right? And the idea is that, once again, we want to create space in our bodies. That's what the breathing is. That's what the stretching is. We want to decrease that stuck and stagnant energy. We want to open it up. We want to release it. We want to be able to create spaciousness so we can think, so we can breathe, so our energy can flow, right? And you can do whatever you want. If you have time, of course, you can do a little yoga. And if you don't have time, this quick little thing that we do together is enough. As long as you are intentionally trying to release some of that stuck, stagnant energy in your body, it's better than nothing, right? A little bit is better than nothing. Okay, so do that with me. And now we're going to shake it out, shake it out, shake it out. Shake, 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 because that's going to be really helpful in sort of eliminating that excess energy. So I got to turn off my phone, which seems to be moving. I mean, not moving, beeping. Okay. So now that we've done that little exercise and gotten into our bodies, we are going to call in our spiritual support team with a prayer. I have my prayer set. You can say your own thing. You can call them in however you want. Just set an intention, or you can just sit quietly. That's okay too. All right, here we go. Divine Mother, Infinite Father, Creator, Ascended Masters, Archangels, Spirit Guides, Ancestors, my love, and all beings of pure white light, allow me to be a clear and open channel of your light and love without hesitation or ego. May the highest vibration of love and light and infinite consciousness connect with my higher self and release any and all things that no longer serve me. I ask that Saint Germain and his infinitely powerful violet flame burn away the things that no longer serve myself or humanity and hold us back from our divine existence. Help us to embody our intentions for the day and help us raise the collective vibration for the highest and greatest good of all. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for giving us the messages, the signs, and the synchronicities through the cards and throughout the day for anybody listening. Let them receive the messages that they need so they can walk in total alignment with their highest selves for the highest and greatest good of all. Thank you. So be it, and so it is. Okay, so now let's talk about your spiritual toolkit, shall we? So, what do I mean when I'm talking about this? Well, your spiritual toolkit can be anything that helps you connect with God, spirit, the universe, whatever classification you want for that higher power, right? And anything that supports your development and creating a closer relationship to your higher self or the highest consciousness is a tool that you use. And so that's kind of what we're going to talk about today. So just like I mentioned in the free quick reference guide that you can download for yourself, we do talk about using spiritual tools when calibrating your energy, right? Which we've been talking about, and I talk about quite a bit. Calibrating your energy is emotional regulation and is making small adjustments to how you look at things, how you do things in order for you to evolve and continue to evolve in the best way that makes sense for you and for humanity, right? And so I want to talk about a couple of the options that you can look into to deepen your relationship with the higher realms. Okay, so number one, prayer. Okay, prayer, which we just did together, and it can be freestyle, something that you say, just setting the intention of communication. Or you can use a rosary if you are Christian, I believe. I don't know if anybody else uses it. Or a mala, which is for other religious denominations. I believe use malas, which are similar but have more beads. And when you are praying, using a rosary or a mala, it can also give you the extra advantage of being able to provide grounding for you, because it's like a concrete thing that you're holding onto. You can set your intention. It can sort of hold the properties of trust. It can hold the properties of connection, so that even if you don't have time to pray, if you hold your rosary, and I know lots of people, I mean, at least growing up, I used to see like rosary on the car, right? And that was like a way of protection. Or malas. I, went through a phase where I wore malas all the time. And it was my way of feeling connected. Now, does it do anything special? It may. I'm not sure. But the reason that I bring it up is because when you are able to use something like a mala or a rosary or like a concrete tool, something you can hold onto, it is like it also physically grounds you in that tool. It makes it feel more real. So you can pray, obviously, without anything. You can just like we did right now, you can put your prayer into the universe. But sometimes when we have something that we can ground our prayer into, and candles are good for this too, which is another one of our options here, is I like to use the candle for two different reasons, okay? Even with prayer or with meditation, the thing that the candle provides is two things, actually. The one thing that I find the candle provides is, once again, it is a physical object, and it can be sort of an indicator of your spiritual session, right? So if you are sitting down and you are setting an intention and you want to communicate, lighting a candle can sort of be that initiation, like, so that it's the beginning of that communication. I'm going to light the candle, put it down, and I'm going to, that is like the beginning of setting the intention, the beginning of setting the mood, so to speak, to speaking with spirit, right? So that's one of the reasons I really love the candle. The second reason I really love the candle is because you can use it as a meditative assistant, let's say, right? So if you have trouble meditating and you don't want to listen to an audio of a meditation, if you really just want to sort of learn how to meditate on your own without being spoken to or without a guided meditation, I find that the candle, the fire method, is really effective. And this works with me, and I'm someone who, like, my mind is always going, so meditation is challenging for me. It's really something I have to practice. I have to practice pulling my thoughts or allowing my thoughts to go and just like bringing myself back to my breath. With the candle, if you look, well, this is kind of messy. It's hard to see because it's like all over, but you can just stare at the flame. And when you're looking at the flame, allow yourself to get lost in how the flame dances and really just when you're trying to meditate, look at the candle and just allow yourself to be mesmerized by the dance of the flame. And I'll tell you that sometimes what happens to me when I really allow myself to sort of like get into that zone, I will see sort of the flames from the candles will start dancing in a certain way, and sometimes it will tell a story. And I find that that's such a beautiful way to connect, because it's almost like it's just you sort of holding space for any information or anything to kind of come up. And when I look at the candles and I look at the flame and I stare at it, I'm able to sort of lose myself, and I'm able to sort of quiet down the ego, quiet down the thoughts, and get lost in those flames. And it really does help me to connect a little stronger, a little deeper with spirit. So candles are a great option. The third tool that I recommend is crystals. Now, sometimes I use them more often than others. At the beginning of my spiritual journey, I think I had a crystal in like every part of my body, in my pockets, in my bra, on my necklace. Obviously, like, my necklaces were all crystal. My bracelets, in fact, when I started Me First mornings, there wasn't a morning that I didn't have my bracelets on. And not to say that I don't still use bracelets, but once again, everything that we use are tools. The tools aren't necessary, but they can be helpful. I don't need a crystal to ground me. I don't need a crystal to do something for me, but I have used my crystals as support, right? As to set intentions. Like, if I have something important to do and I'm feeling a little less confident, I may grab a couple of crystals that are, carnelian is a good crystal for confidence, for example, because it sort of activates your solar plexus. And so that is, it's like solar plexus, also sacral, like in that area, the orange, red, carnelian, and crystals that reflect certain colors can help you to connect with a specific chakra or a specific feeling that you're trying to amplify, right? Crystals, essential oils, all these tools, they amplify your connection. They are not the sole reason for your connection. Like, if you can't find a crystal or something else, it's not like, oh, sorry, you can't connect with spirit today. No, you can connect. You can do it with nothing, right? But as I said, putting together a spiritual toolkit can be helpful when you need support, when you're really struggling, when your challenges just outweigh your ability to stay connected, because that can happen sometime. And so on days where I'm feeling a little less motivated or I'm feeling disconnected, I will use more spiritual tools on that day, or at least I try to encourage myself to use more spiritual tools on that day, because if I feel like I can't connect right away, using a tool will help me. It'll give me that little extra push, that little amplification that I may need. If nothing else, it's for my ego. Really, at the end of the day, it's for my ego, because that's what's going to help. Like, not to say that crystals aren't powerful on their own, or, any of these tools aren't powerful on their own. They are, but they're as powerful as you allow them to be. They're as powerful as your intentions. And that's really the thing that I want to communicate with you today, is we're talking about spiritual tools, and we're talking about building your spiritual toolkit. And any of the things that I talk about are things I recommend just kind of keeping in your back pocket in order for you to continue working on that connection with spirit, working on that connection with your higher self. But as I said, I will say it is not necessary to use anything specific except for you and your inner connection. That's all you need. Okay, but if you need help, that's what today's about. All right, so crystals and essential oils, they kind of go hand in hand for me, because I feel like essential oils work in the same way as crystals, right? So all of these things, everything has a vibration. And so the crystals have their own vibration, which connects with like different chakras and different, needs you may have. So if you want to look into crystals a little bit more, that's one thing. But moving on to essential oils, it's very similar, right? There are certain essential oils that have the frequency of the things that you are trying to connect with or resolve, right? So one of the essential oils, I didn't even put it on today because I ran out, is Young Living's Sacred Frankincense, okay? I really love this when I'm trying to connect with spirit. There's a very strong, I love frankincense for that, actually. It's just my thing. And that's what it comes down to for essential oils. Well, for everything, but essential oils, crystals, whatever it is that you use. It is how you connect with it. It is what you appreciate most. It is whether it is effective for you. And for me, I like to use essential oils as part of my ritual because the immediate, like as soon as I smell this, I'm in the zone. It is, I have trained my body, much like Pavlov's, experiment. I have trained my body that the second that I smell this, I'm calmer immediately. And that's because I created a ritual and that essential oil was introduced into that ritual. So now just the smell will make me feel better immediately. And that's why these tools are important, or that's why these tools are a really great resource for you because, as I said, when you're struggling, when you're overwhelmed, when it just is too much and you can't do it on your own, you turn to your spiritual toolkit and you're like, what's going to get me there? What's going to help me in this situation, right? So essential oils is great. If you want to sort of bring yourself to a certain moment, using essential oils to connect with certain emotions, to connect with certain memories, it can be really, really helpful. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about is tapping. Now, tapping, for those of you who don't know what tapping is, I highly recommend looking it up. But tapping it is just one of the methods that you can use to basically calm your body down, to regulate yourself, to calibrate your energy. And there's some wonderful tapping teachers. There's one, the tapping solution is something you can Google. That's a great place to look into. And then there's another coach online. Her name is Jackie McDonald. She's great to teach tapping. Whatever you want to connect with, or whoever you connect with, go ahead and learn about tapping through there. You can just literally type in tapping in YouTube and there'll be like 1,000 videos that come up. But what tapping is it's literally just these pressure points that you touch, okay? And this is not a tapping class, and I'm just covering options with you right now. If you want more information, please, you can reach out to me, and I'm happy to give you more info, or then just go on Google and look it up. But what tapping does is through sort of this tapping certain parts on your face, on your body. So like over here, this is like the main sort of tapping points, right? You do these tapping points and it sends a message to your body that everything's okay. And there's a whole process to the tapping experience where I have used tapping when my senses are really heightened, when I'm really, really anxious, when I'm really, really scared and I cannot get myself out of it. And, I'm stating to the universe, I'm divinely guided and protected. And I surrender. And I'm trying to release, but I can't get out of my head about it. Like those days where I just can't get out of my head about it. I can't quiet that noise down. I find tapping, once again, because it is a physical thing, because you are literally touching your body, grounding yourself in that process. Aside from, of course, these special acupressure points that you're touching, they are specific points that you're touching to bring calm to that parasympathetic system of yours, right? Like you want to get yourself relaxed. In order to connect with spirit, you have to be sort of in that flow, and it helps you. So when I'm in a panic, I will often, I'm divinely guided and protected. I'm divinely guided and protected. I'm divinely guided and protected. And I'll just say it over and over again and tap. And the good thing about tapping too is that even if you're scared, you can tap it out while you're afraid, right? Like, I'm really terrified. I'm terrified. I don't know what to do. I'm terrified. Oh my God, I'm so scared. But you know what? I think it's going to be okay. I just need to calm myself down. I just need to take it one step at a time. I just need, and you kind of talk yourself through, like talking yourself off the ledge, but while tapping. This is just a very surface explanation of how I use tapping for myself. if you want to look into it and take it more seriously, please, like I said, there's plenty of classes, courses, there's tons of videos online about it. But I will say that it has been a very good spiritual tool to get me out of panic, overwhelm, and like extreme stress mode where I cannot even think. And it brings me to this place of sort of stasis, of grounding, where I can get back to my foundation and start again. So I highly recommend tapping as a spiritual tool. And like I said, if you want more information or have questions, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to talk more about it. And also, if you want me to talk more about it, I will. Just let me know in the comments. Another spiritual tool, right, is yoga. Now, I don't have to tell you guys too much about yoga because most people know what it is and how it works. But once again, yoga, stretching, anything body-wise is a spiritual tool because it is including your body in the process. But yoga specifically is really helpful because yoga will, in the movements of yoga, you are expanding your breath, you're expanding your capacity, and it is very intentional and very spiritual. And so that intention, that spiritual connection will put you in the energy of being able to connect with spirit, right? If you really like sit down and have a really good yoga session, after that, you are very receptive to communication with spirit because you're just in a different zone. You're in a different energetic zone. You're in the flow. You know, some people will say you're in a high vibration. And when you're in a high vibration, you're able to much more clearly connect with spirit. All right. And the last thing I'm going to talk about, and it's just for a little bit because we're going to cover it more tomorrow, is my Oracle/Tarot cards. Now, I usually on this show use Oracle cards, my usual deck that I use from Colette Baron Reed, which is the Enchanted Map. And they are my favorite spiritual tool. And the reason they're my favorite spiritual tool is because I find that this is literal communication. And that's why we're going to talk about it a little bit more tomorrow, because tomorrow we're going to talk about how to sort of receive your messages. Today, what this is about, the spiritual tools, are more for you to be able to connect and more for you to sort of hold that space, open up spaciousness in your world to be able to receive messages. And then tomorrow we're going to talk a little bit about how to actually get the messages through signs and oracle cards and tarot cards, right? And it's my favorite way because it's something I've been doing ever since I was a kid. And I'll tell you that even when I was younger and I didn't have oracle cards, they certainly weren't as available as they are now. I just used a regular deck of cards because it is not what's in the cards. It is how you communicate and the language that you choose to use with spirit, right? So you're going to know you're developing that relationship. You're developing a communication. And that's why I like the cards, because there's actual words here. And so I can kind of get a better idea of what spirit is trying to communicate to me through the cards. Okay. And so that being said, we're going to pull a card right now. And we're going to talk about, ask the universe, what is the best way to connect with spirit, right? Get some spirit's direct connection and just say, like, what does the audience need to know about connecting with spirit and building your spiritual toolkit? And when I talk about building your spiritual toolkit, you know, you don't have to physically build anything. Cards were upside down. You don't actually have to physically build anything, obviously, but it's like things to have in your back pocket. It's things to be able to refer to when you're struggling. And that's a practice. You have to practice bringing out your spiritual toolkit. You have to practice calibrating your energy. You have to practice approaching things in a different way than you ever have before. That is a practice. Okay, so we're going to pull these cards. So once again, Spirit, let us know, what do we need to know about communicating with Spirit and how to build a closer relationship with Spirit? Okay, here we go. Okay, so the card I pulled, of course, it's like, you know, you can't even make this stuff up. All right, look, the card I pulled is the listening card, number 53. Which is number 8, right? 5 plus 3 is 8 in numerology. I like to do the math sometimes. And it's listening, right? And so what is the listening card all about? Quiet, meditation, being in nature, right? How you can communicate with spirit is literally by closing that mouth. Stop talking. Stop being in your head and just listen. Listen to the birds. Listen to the trees. Listen to the wind. Listen. Just stop thinking. Stop working so hard to find a solution. Spirit can't get to you if you're too busy talking. You can't get messages if you're too busy having a million ideas trying to come up with solutions. Nothing can get in if you're constantly busy in that mind of yours. And so the advice that Spirit is literally giving straight with this card, which is why I love using this spiritual tool so much, is if you want to get closer to Spirit, if you want to improve your relationship and your connection to your higher self, to the powers that be higher than all of us, right? To the Creator, it is to start listening. Stop talking. Start listening. Okay, I'm going to read you what the actual description of the card is, because I like to do that. And then we're going to wrap it up today because we're done, because this is it. All right. An open heart will hear the message. When this card appears, you're being reminded that there is a time to speak and a time to be silent. Now is an occasion for listening. Pay attention not only to what is being spoken, but also to what is not being said at the moment, for the deeper message is not always obvious. Listen with your heart, not just your ears, and you'll find clarity. Receiving the listening card is a fortunate sign and ensures a greater understanding of your circumstances. All right, so I'm going to encourage you all today to take some time to just sit in silence and just listen. And if you do that today, can you please come back and let me know what messages you've heard, if any, if you received a message from Spirit for listening? I really want to know. If you don't want to write it in the comments here, send me a private message. I would absolutely love to know your experience, that if you actually take some time today to listen, what is the message that you hear? Please let me know. Aside from that, I'm wrapping up for today. I'm so happy we got to spend this time together. I really love you and wish you the best. And I'll see you tomorrow.